Go through, and then we're also going to open it up. Start to think about some questions you'd like to toss to the panel. We've got some over there, and maybe would you be our questioner, so I don't have to bend too far there, and so.
Sure. Well, I think agility overall and being agile is something that we're just at the cusp of learning how to do. And I mean, I think back over my, I'm obviously very young, but at the beginning of at the beginning of my work life, I used to dictate memos, and people would type those for me, and I would circle corrections, and yeah. And obviously all of that's changed, and we have had the introduction of information technology and what have you, except now it's sped up. And so now I need to consult with people who are really of a completely different mindset in a way that I don't even know. So, just a couple of years ago, I used to still write little memos on my portal page. What I didn't understand is that people didn't read them. So I now make quick little video clips, and people kind of like to see me and feel like they have established a relationship with me. It's been one of the best things I've ever done, is have people see me every day and a quick little note, and that's been huge. But I didn't figure that out. Somebody told me, and so it's been about listening, and agility is about listening to others.
I was with the CEO, chairman of JCPenney, the retail chain down in Dallas, and he's now changed all of their cash registers in the stores so that when somebody's not waiting on a customer, they can watch videos from him and other people around around their chain. And it really is weird. So he's moved his office to be next to a TV studio because he said, cool. I'm going to be broadcasting rather than writing as a fundamental shift. So agility, what's some reaction?
I think it's a mandatory prerequisite to work. I think it's just a core function now, and your ability to be agile and adapt. And I'll give you a quick story, and it's recent, and it's really to do with the earthquake and the problems in Japan with the nuclear plants they're having. So we have international suppliers and global suppliers. So the earthquake hits, and in overnight it changes our business plans overnight. And not only does it change our business plans, because we've got equipment, major equipment, that is coming out of Japan. So, Hitachi contacts me the next day to let me know what's going on. But more than that, we've got people working on our site out at the plant who have families who have lost everything. Right. And we're now in the middle of that. And so here's a global situation that you watch on the news, and 10 years ago you would just watch on the news and think, oh, that's interesting. And today you're working side by side with a person whose 10 family members have no home. And you're hoping that everyone in their family is alive, and they're looking for them. And there's an agility in that, because you have to adapt to the circumstance, the business circumstance, and the people circumstance, and you need to adapt to it now. You can't think about it for 36 hours. So, and that is to me the world we're in today.
I think I'd echo everything that's been said, and probably will be said as well. My first experience of agility was going through the bust in year 2000. So all of a sudden I get this great idea, I'd like to do HR. And that was a world where if you wanted to paint in high tech, if you wanted to build, you could do anything you wanted. 6 months later, we had our first 5,000 cuts at Nortel. And, frankly, 5 years later, we let go of 70,000 people. That was my first foray into agility. And as we were letting go of people, the rest of us that were there to pick up the pieces had to be very creative. And also, we didn't have a lot of experience under our belt, because we were real mixed in terms of the people that were hanging around to continue to try to engage and retain our employees. And you really learn pretty quickly how to be creative and how to get to know individuals and what their experiences are that they bring to the table, and how, as a group, it's amazing what you can accomplish under pressure. And if we could channel that energy such that we didn't always have to be under pressure, to bring that creative thought to life, that would really be, I think, the secret sauce. And the second thing I would add is I don't know what organization now isn't going through change and isn't having to be agile, because since that experience, I went then to the financial sector thinking, oh, stable, I've got young kids, like to, you know, have some balance in my life. Then we have the financial crisis hit. I'm like, okay, and not that I'm predicting that's going to happen in oil and gas. Hope not. So I think Talisman's taking a bet, but it's just what it tells you is that there's constant change in any organization, any industry, and also personally. As you mentioned, you know, with all the generations, there's different experiences that people face personally that we forget when we're in the workforce. So agility, it's just all around us, and I don't think you can really avoid it, nor should you.
So I guess I'll talk about my CEO, my observations of him, because I find him quite fascinating. To him, like, he instigates change. Change is expected. So I agree with you. Everybody's dealing with change. You know, in his mind, there's this great big world out there and a limited amount of time within which to figure out what makes people tick and how we can sell our brand to them. And so he is encouraging his people to, you know, always be exploring, always learn, always be thinking of new ways to make money in different places. And so, you know, we, the people that follow him, are in a position where we have to stay current and constant learning. So, he is reading global newspapers, he's reading research papers, academic papers, but he's got peeps, and his peeps are, you know, to speak to your presentation earlier, are partly his employees in the global offices, help him to keep his ear to the ground and help the rest of the team to change with global changes. And, you know, he's on boards and advisory boards, and, you know, he's keeping in contact with the best in the business, the best in business, and just being part of that discussion flow keeps him current and forces us to also keep current.
David?
Well, as change management consultants, we love all this change, you know. Keeps us in business. I'd like to just bring it back to career development for a minute. The question was agile. I think it's really important for us to be agile in the way we think about our employees' career progression. So in other words, this notion that you had to be in a role for so many years and that the promotion was a straight line from one level to another level to another level, I mean, clearly that needs to break. So to me, being agile in listening to the aspirations of our staff and letting them guide their career, because for us in some respects it is easier in the sense that if an individual is passionate about a particular aspect of business or consulting, I'm happy to develop them in that direction. But we have to be agile enough to listen and be responsive and not expect people to sort of, you know, do that, you know, 2 years, 3 years, etc.
Mm-hmm. Naveen, you want to pick one or two of those, and we'll come back with some other questions?
Sure. I'm looking at question number 4, and it's addressed to anybody on the panel. After the economic...
Oh, let me get your mic on. Okay.
Is it on now? So this question is for the panel. After the economic downturn, it seems that some organizations are actually going backwards and becoming more conservative. Given this, what role and priority do you feel inclusion or inclusivity will play today and in the future, and why? So the role of inclusion.
I can tell you that it is the key, at Ernst & Young right now, it is the key topic that we're discussing. And I'll say, you may see that some organizations are conservative, maybe they're conservative from a financial point of view, which is understandable.